Well, today it's Wednesday, June 3rd. It's a beautiful day in Harrisburg, over 80 degrees. It rained earlier, it's clear now. And we're in Riverfront Park. This is the famous Sunken Garden, Harvey Taylor Bridge, and City Island or beyond. Today we're going to take a tour up old historic Broad Street, which is now called Verbeke Street, but it begins here in Riverfront Park. It begins right there at the fireman's statue, and gonna cross right now while we can. And we're gonna get a wonderful view up the middle of Broad Street. It was laid out by William K. Verbeke, who was a developer of this part of Harrisburg, and it was named for him because he created so much of what was then called West Harrisburg, because it was west of Allison Hill, but it's actually north of downtown. A couple of landmarks here. This is the site of a former gas station. That's where Ralph Vartan has his annual pop-up bonfire. There was a gas station one time on this corner, and that's now the Laurel Terrace Senior Citizen High-Rise Center. But Mr. Verbeke wanted a nice broad street just like the one at State Street, which faces the state capitol, and he had the idea of building a market house, which would be a major retail destination, and having the street configuration and the building similar to what we have at State Street and the Capitol Complex. These are some of the old early houses that William Verbeke built. Another of the developers was Ernest Guide, and they developed a lot of this area in the 1860s, 1870s, 1880s. The Broad Street Market you see in the distance. Let's see if we can catch up to it. We'll see it better. The leaves are on the trees now in full force. But we're crossing 2nd Street in a moment. And 2nd Street, we just crossed Front Street at the river. Front, 2nd, 3rd. The streets in Harrisburg are numbered just like they are in Philadelphia, with Front Street at the river and the numbers moving away from the river. The other interesting thing in Harrisburg is that it also copies the system of naming the intersecting streets. We have Market Street, just like Philadelphia does. We have Walnut, Locust, Pine, and Chestnut Street. All those are street names that are common in Philadelphia. And I'm going to try and make this red light. Now, we're coming to a nice, attractive part of Verbeke Street. It was originally called Broad Street, and a lot of people called it Broadway. And it was only about 20 years ago that it got this landscaped median. And many of the volunteers, neighborhood volunteers, maintain the median strip, and they do a great job. Shady McGrady's is a wonderful little neighborhood bar. They're not open for going inside, but you can order takeout as part of the pandemic restrictions. It's under the yellow designation of partial reopening of the city. Here's a great planting right here in the median. I have no idea what kind of flower that is, but that's pretty beautiful. And a lot of great old, beautifully maintained historic houses here on the north side of Verbeke Street, and also over here on the south side. I probably shouldn't have decided to do this at rush hour. There are a lot more cars out now than in recent weeks as things get back to normal. I just love the color of that house. There's a sign. A lot of people were carrying signs about Black Lives Matter. There's been a demonstration almost every day. And the thing that we really find kind of positive. Hey, hi there. How are you? Well, we're taking our tour of Verbeke Street. Good to see you. Good. Thank you for coming out. Good. Hi, everybody. There's Rich and J.R. Brenner. Hello. And a couple of the other neighbors here from this part of town. Good to see you all with a couple of good-looking dogs out hiking around. That's great. And I'm headed on my way up to 3rd Street. We're partway through our tour. So, Rich, I'm going to see you at a board meeting in a few minutes. How you doing? Good. Great. Great. Good to see you. The houses look beautiful, and so does the street, everybody. Great. See you later. There's another sign. United we stand, together we overcome. These people really care. It's great. And the demonstrators today and throughout the week have been a mixed crowd, half white and half black. And I think that's kind of a key indication of sentiments in our city. There's another great block of houses. That house there at 250 Verbeke Street on the corner, that was the house. Hey, Vivi, wait a minute. I'm taking a video tour up Verbeke Street, and I want to come say hello to Vivian Verbeke. Don't mean to ambush you. But we have a great mixture of residential houses and little businesses. And this is one of the great little businesses. This is Vivian, and she calls her store, her pottery shop and art gallery, Vivian Verbeke. And she's always open for 3rd and the Berg and other community events. And she's a great neighbor. Good to see you, Viv.
I just got back from Stripes, got some fresh strawberries.
Oh, wonderful. Great. It's strawberry season. Yes, indeed. Good to see you. Wonderful. Everything looks beautiful here. Take care. The church, that's now called Second City Church. That was originally the Reformed Church, Second Reformed Church, and it changed denominations a few years ago. Behind their parish house is a very old school building that was the Verbeke Elementary School at one time. But as schools consolidated and changed, it became part of the church campus. I'm going to show you in a minute just how that is actually an old building incorporated into a new building. There you can see that older building there? That was built in the 1880s as a school building, and the modern addition was built in the 1950s to unify everything as a church campus. This is our building, the back end of the historic Harrisburg Resource Center. We'll see that a little bit further in a moment. And here's the last portion of the median strip here. Go ahead. I wonder if the chef is still on duty here. Let's see. Yeah, wonderful. Just bakes and cakes and pies. And there's the chef still on duty. He closes in a few minutes at 6 o'clock, but they're open Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And they've got great food that you can order right here on the sidewalk. We'll be back tomorrow. Hey, how you doing? Good, good. Welcome. I'll see you at the board meeting in a couple minutes. It's a beautiful day. I'm taking a video tour, yeah. Now there we got a wonderful view of the Broad Street Market building. And it was built in 1860 by Mr. Verbeke. restored in the 1990s. That's when it got its new modern sign. And here's a good view of the historic Harrisburg Resource Center that was built as the Central Trust Company dating back to 1893. And here we're going to get a good view of 3rd Street before we finish our tour. Hey, hi there. Yep, there's 3rd Street right down to the State Museum, and you can see the Capitol in the distance. 3rd Street goes north past the Midtown Scholar Bookstore and up to the Susquehanna Art Museum in the distance. This is really where the action is in Midtown Harrisburg. And here's our building.